College dorms are terrible. I'd rather sleep on the sidewalk than be in the living conditions these places put the students through. My college is just horrible. I could go on about this for a while, but on campus, there was one dorm that was actually livable, and that's the honors dorm. I won't lie, my high school performance was not good, but during my freshman year of college, I got put into the honors dorm for weird COVID reasons, probably. But I didn't complain. I didn't choose to be born God's favorite. This was the first time I had full independence too. I mean, everyone did. This is just what you do. You smoke in the college dorm. Even the honors kids were doing it. It's crazy. So it's one of the first months of college, and I'm at this little get together at some other dude's dorm. I don't know who was there. I hardly remember these people, but there was one guy that's important, and that's my main man, Adam. We were smoking, drinking, doing all that, but there was hardly anything happening. It was like a 7-person get together just watching two guys play Call of Duty. So Adam and I are like, this is ass, we gotta get out of here and make something happen. So the two of us leave the function, and the thing about this dude's place is it's on a different floor of the building than we lived on. The floor of the dorms that houses the dorm gym. For COVID reasons, this gym was locked and closed, so no one could use it, but we were in the honors dorms. We thought we could use our bright little heads to figure out a way in. There were 2 doors into the gym, and we noticed a difference between the two. The part of the door with the latch had a little 1/2-inch opening on one door, while the other door had no space to work with. So we started trying different ways to open this door. One person would be on it while the other would look out. You already know, these honors kids, they would have narked if they had seen us, so we were on our toes. We were trying different ways to push this latch down so we could just open the door and get a little pump. We tried to push it down with our fingers. We tried the good old credit card trick, but nothing worked. Then Adam comes up with this genius idea. He takes out one of the laces from his shoe, throws one end around the latch, and basically has a little lasso around this thing. He pulls on it and it slides the latch down for a second before it goes back up. So we do it again, but as we pull the shoelace, we twist the knob and pull the door at the same time, and it opens. This moment was my peak. I don't think I've ever felt so accomplished and smart since. And I wasn't even the one who came up with the idea. So we get into this little dorm gym, and it feels so unreal. We're all giddy, running around the place. The scary thing though is that the automated lights turned on as we walked in there, but we thought we'd be fine as long as people didn't see us through the door. Before we start using the gym, we run back to my dorm and we come back with a paper towel and some tape. We fold up the paper towel so it's thick enough to be used as a door stopper, and we put some tape around it to keep it there. So we're in the gym getting the pump of a lifetime. You could say we were too high in the gym. Shout out to myself. But after about 10 minutes, we start to hear the door open. There isn't supposed to be anyone able to get into this place. I mean, the doors were locked. And as the door opens, a janitor steps in for some reason. I don't know why he would clean this place. I mean, no one's been in here all semester, but a janitor just decides to walk in at this moment. The three of us lock eye contact for a second, and he's like, "How'd you guys get in here?" "Oh, you know, it was just unlocked, man." "Yeah, we saw the lights on and we just thought it must have opened up." He told us to get out, but I won't lie, I feel like we had a pretty convincing case on our side looking back on it. In the moment though, we didn't feel so confident. It may have been the weed talking, but we felt so paranoid that they would check the cameras or something and see us. Nothing ended up happening of it, and the little paper towel door stopper was still there, so the two of us essentially had created our own personal gym to use any time for the rest of the school year. Okay, that's the story. Bye! Smoking alone can lead to so many different experiences. Unlike smoking with others, where the dynamic of the group's collective synergy determines the vibe, that vibe is up to you and whatever's going on up in that thick head of yours. In my case, my brain wants to do 5 different things all at once, and I end up led down strange rabbit holes. Just look at this clip I found once.
It's extremely creepy to think about the fact that Mario may be facing a purgatory where he has to face the loss of everyone he failed to protect.
Anyways, during my last late night solo session, I decided to track everything I did in my notes app. So here's what I wrote about the journey. Once I began my high, I realized, yo, I bought this projector the other day just for an occasion like this. So I turned it on and sat in my big chair. I did what I do every time, and I played Snowfall by One Heart on my Alexa. I had created a nice little setting for myself, so I sat back, looked at the ceiling, and existed in it. Then thoughts came over me. I started to have evil thoughts corrupting my mind. The demons were taking over quickly, so before they had a chance to overcome me, I went on my iPhone SE and opened YouTube. The first video that came up on my recommended was called The Quiet Sadness of Mario Galaxy. And after my demonic ordeal, I thought to myself, that's just like me, I gotta watch this one. But as I clicked on the video, I got an advertisement for Pizza Hut's new melts and instantly forgot about everything else. In this moment, all I wanted was to taste these delicious, cheesy new Pizza Hut melts. They looked so unequivocally delicious. All other foods paled in comparison to the melt's greatness. So I clicked on the ad, which sent me to a screen that asked me to make a Pizza Hut account to continue. I tried for like 10 minutes to make an account to no avail, until I saw there was a guest option. But if you're a guest, you still can't order Pizza Hut. God damn it, I can't take this anymore, I'm using Postmates. And then I suddenly got an earth-shattering text message from Roman. Bad news, y'all. My parents are getting a divorce and my dad's in jail. Oh no. Do not fret. Little did I know this message was a bit of a troll. If I had just looked at the message above it that read, Roman, save my divorce voice recordings, I could have pieced it together, but I didn't. The big dog Cole was running a meme sending Roman voice recordings pretending to be his father, saying he was getting a divorce. But again, I didn't realize this. How did this happen? I need to call him. Bro, explain this to me. Yeah, my parents are getting a divorce. My dad's in jail. Really? Yep, he's in jail, rotting and divorced. Well, he didn't seem too bothered by that. Oh god, I'm so hungry. I need that Postmates. I had finally ordered the elusive melts, and while waiting for them, I decided to go back and watch that Mario video. I got probably 1 minute exactly into my viewing until my eyes cheekily shifted down to the first recommended video, being one of those house building process videos. This joint will hit right now, sheesh. As you can imagine, it didn't take long for my brain to start thinking something else. I bet I could build a house. Why don't I just build one right now? I'll play Minecraft and show this guy he could only dream to build a house as good as me. I turned on the PS4 to see the game disc wasn't in, and I'd have to get up from my chair to solve this problem. So I just sat there and did nothing. This allowed my demons, corruption, and evil sludge to coat my mind once again with its wickedness until... Pizza time! Pizza time! Forgetting the existentialism, I instantly ran to the door to acquire the payload. It seems it was just a little too fast though, because as soon as I opened the door... Thanks. It was finally time. The moment we'd all been waiting for. All the blood, sweat, and tears were about to finally pay off in this massive climax of an event. This looks so good. Holy. I took the first bite of the most heavenly food on the face of the planet. It was exactly what the commercial had promised. This melt was quite literally busting in my mouth with every delicate and cheesy bite I took. I devoured the entire thing in roughly 1 minute on my beast mode savagery and then threw myself back into the big chair. I was finally determined this time to finish the Mario video. I wasn't about to let anything stop me. So as I unlocked my phone, I saw it was still on that house making video and I remembered Minecraft was waiting for me. But this time I was changed. After devouring such a great melt, I was feeling formidable and brave enough to get up and put Minecraft into the PS4. I perfectly executed the operation, loaded up a new world, and after 20-something minutes, I made myself the most generic wooden plank house imaginable. Feeling pretty good about this, I opened my phone again, disliked the house building video in an act of ownage and deviosity. Then I got back to my Mario video. Realizing how awesome I was, I felt I couldn't fully relate to the themes of this video as well as 30 minutes ago me would have. But regardless, I watched the whole thing and only paid attention to the visuals and the music since it was all very cute. It was just so nice seeing all of these bright colors and peering into the endless depths of space while listening to the music that by the end of it, I was feeling a tad sleepy. I stumble my way back to my bed and lay down. As I was falling asleep, I felt as though I myself was drifting through space, just like the Mario man himself. It was truly serene. Okay, that's the video. Subscribe. Back in high school, the struggle for just a smidgen of change would lead people down unspeakable paths. I'll admit, back in the day, the grind for a pretty penny got to me. I saw bad things and did bad things I'd never forget. Today, I'm here to share how I slung drugs out on the courtyard, created an empire, and how that empire was suddenly pulled from right under my feet. Like anything ever, this operation was conceived out of an idea that sprouted out from desperation. A desperation me and the big man Cole were facing. Financial insecurity in the face of college. We wanted a little more bread before we went off to uni, and almost like fate, we had an idea come to us from pure happenstance. It was a sleepover night with the two of us. 9 p.m. was approaching. We had to be up by 5 a.m. for gym time, and we weren't tired. We consulted the melatonin gummy jar about this issue, and we both ate like 4 of these gummies. We lay down in our separate beds, and once the effects started to hit, we realized the gym may not be happening. Bro, are you still awake? Yeah, bro, I feel high. Me too. Something that must be understood is that the chemistry between me and Cole creates one of the greatest minds for business. We had realized, dude, we don't need to buy edibles to get high. We just need melatonin. This then advanced to, if we don't need to risk buying illegal drugs, then there's no risk in selling these either. And then we have an entire school of customers that want weed but can't safely acquire it. And finally, we need to sell these to the freshmen. If we could trick one high school freshman into believing these melatonin gummies were edibles, he'd tell his friends, the business would grow naturally, so would our pockets, and we would have a solid amount of money when starting college. When the next day of school came around, we had a plan. All that was needed was a freshman to take the bait. During lunch, we both sit at a table beside a group of freshman kids, positioning ourselves back to back with another table. We start talking. Man, I cannot believe we got all of those edibles. I know, right? They hit so hard, bro. They felt so good. Yeah, that was like a life-changing experience. I think everyone has to experience this stuff. We were clearly talking loud enough for this table to hear us, but no one was biting. We had to take a more active approach. I leaned back and asked, hey man, have you ever done edibles before? No, why? I got a ton of edibles the other day and I'm looking to sell. You want to buy? Let me think about it. This kid talks with his table for the rest of lunch until the bell rings. As everyone's walking away, we stop him and ask, so you interested, little bro? Kind of, but I don't have any money on me. This was an inevitability we foresaw. So I hand him 2 melatonins. How about these ones are on the house? You can do it with one of your friends. Let me know how it goes. And just like that, we got the ball rolling on what would eventually secure us future financial stability. After about a week, this kid comes back to us saying how awesome it was, and he and his friend got so high they passed out. He wanted more, and this time he brought money, so we sold them to him $15 a pop. As the school year went on, word spread. Eventually, we had a whole section of the freshman year class hitting us up on the daily for these melatonins. But while our pockets grew, our hearts would shrink. The two of us had a real friendship that grew with the original kid, and he had no idea. That bond was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. We had to really ponder the ethical justifications of our scam. Was lying to all of these people justified if we were providing them with fulfilling experiences? Was ignorance truly bliss, and did they deserve to know the truth? It felt wrong to leave for college, abandoning all these freshmen behind in a haze of lies. They deserved to know, so me and Cole had the plan to tell them on the last day of school, and we'd use the money they gave us to buy real edibles for them and make up for everything we did. It was a solid plan that would lift the baggage off of our souls, so as to avoid carrying this burden throughout our lives. But things did not go as planned. Spring break hit, and so did COVID. We never got to see those kids again, and they still don't have a clue what happened to them. All we can say for sure is they were happy. The smiles on their faces as we deceived them were always a bittersweet sight. And because of a global pandemic, despite the burden we bear, those smiles will never die. Okay, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. The Pendulum to a stoner is the equivalent to a peasant's potato farm, meaning it's quite literally the bread and butter of our lives. Because of that, most people end up smoking them for their first time. But for me, this was my second time. I was posted up inside Big Bro Roderick's incredible house one winter evening. We both felt awesome with very impressive looks on our faces. There were supposedly big plans this evening because Roderick was like, I know these 4 people having the biggest, most awesome party tonight, which sounded grand, but there was one problem. Do I know these people though? No. Do they know me? Yes. And that was enough for me to be a little bit hesitant. I don't know, man. They could bully me. Don't sweat it, chap. One little dinghy off this port bow and you'll feel on top of the world. Holy crap, what's that? What is that? It's weed. Boom! This was a top 10 bomba clot moments of my entire life. As I mentioned, I had only ever smoked one time before this, and the parasites in my brain were starting to speak to me. The same parasitic voices that tell me to peek corners in Valorant, gamble more money, and generally overextend on things I shouldn't were firing. Alright, Roderick, we've done this once before. I don't see the harm in going for a second. Oh god, it hurts so badly. You can't go crazy like that, bro. You gotta take your time. Oh, alright, I'll do it gently. Are you good, bro? Yeah. Alright, my boy, let's head out and drive to this shindig. As we start to drive, all this time in the car allows me to grasp the gravity of the situation I'm in. The world started to change around me in ways I didn't understand, and I felt an awe-inspiring feeling in my fingertips. I could not act right, and I started to go crazy until immediately locking in, because I was about to enter a home I didn't know with 4 people I also don't know. Hey, bro, if they see me like this, what do you think they'll think of me? Oh, I think you're gonna be all good, bro. Oh my god! I had a bad case of the poo-poo eyes from those Benjamin tokes. You look awesome, dude. You'll be okay. Just put on these cool shades and they'll be very impressed with your style. Whoa, I feel like I'm number 1, dude. So as we pull up to the house, there's only one single objective on my mind. I need to convince each of these people that I'm sober. Because if they see me high, they're gonna think I'm an addicted bum. We walk in through the front door and there's already a major fork in my plans. Roderick had actually brought me to the hose. I don't even know how to act around the hose when I'm sober, and those pen hits gave me slurp juice brain. Luckily, there was only this one girl named Sarah as we walked in, but I kid you not, she looked exactly like the Fortnite Sunstrider skin. God threw a level 10 baddie my way, and I started getting anxiety, but I couldn't forget the objective at hand. I can't let Sunstrider find out that I'm high. Yo, what's up, Sarah? This is Ninye. Oh my god, Roderick has told me so much about you. Alright, I can't mess up my first introduction. Yo, haha, that's awesome. Okay, that wasn't bad. Alright, I'm gonna go say hi to everyone else. Bye, guys. God damn it, now I'm all alone with her. So why are you wearing those shades in the middle of the night? Off rip, she's going for my weak spot. I gotta change the subject. Are you very impressed with my style? Fuck. Yeah, you look really cool. This is too stressful. I need to go somewhere to blow off a little steam. Alright, where's the bathroom? So we go upstairs and she shows me to the little man's room and I start doing push-ups on the ground like, ugh, fuck yeah, ugh. I'm trying to get a little pump in an attempt to get my head back in the game. But while grunting and moaning on the floor, I can see Sunstrider's feet from under the little crack of the door on the floor. So hopefully she didn't get the wrong idea from my sounds. But I waste no time to text Roderick, I'm afraid of the hose, bro. In which he replies, don't worry, I'll clutch up for you. So as I leave the bathroom, Roderick comes upstairs with a deck of Uno cards and a bottle of vodka and starts telling us rules like, you two gotta drink every time you draw a card. Sarah, you go first. Bro is taking some big dog initiative in this situation. And then Roderick essentially just falls back down the stairs. Now I'm pretty much locked into playing Uno with this one girl at this point. But I start dicing her up with these draw 4s like I'm a professional at this. And in no time, Sunstrider starts getting all bomba clot from the drinks. She starts getting into all this girl talk work like, I fucking hate my friend Melissa. She fucked my ex-boyfriend last week. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Well, I keep pulling out these draw fours like nobody's business. Somehow before I knew it, Sunstrider had inched her way to sitting right next to me. She starts taking whole swigs from the bottle and looks at me like, you haven't drank anything yet. You can't be the only sober one. Let's fucking go! This whole time I had successfully masked the fact that I was high, and her saying that just confirmed it. So I take a celebratory swig, but then she starts doing some weird shiz, like putting her hand on my thigh like, fuck Melissa anyways. But it turns out she drank more than she could handle because she couldn't control the volume of her voice, and she said that really loudly. Before we know it, this girl runs upstairs like, what the fuck did you just say? Turns out Melissa was at the party and heard everything. The two other girls come running up from behind Melissa, and a whole fight starts breaking out before I could process what was about to happen to me. Even this girl's little brother walks out of some bedroom. I didn't even know he was in the house, but he starts to get involved in this. I'm just sitting on the floor watching it all unfold until Roderick slowly walks up the stairs behind them and beckons me to come over to him. He's like, yo, I don't know what's going on, but we should probably leave. I'm down, bro. This place is getting a little too heated for me. So we sneak out the front door and drive away. I start telling Roderick about what happened with me completely washing this girl in Uno with no remorse for her soul, and he drops the biggest plot twist of the night. It turns out he had rigged the cards and made every other card draw in my favor so that the girl would drink more and make the situation less awkward with me. So if there's any takeaway from this story, take your time with the Benjamin because it hits very hard. Before you know it, you'll get anxiety from the hose. Greening out is allegedly worse than cutting off limbs. However, despite being the massive Zahead that I am, I've never actually experienced that climax. I've had friends go through it before my very eyes and seen the absolute destruction that befalls their now forever ruined bodies. But me, I've never had it happen to me until today, when my constant push for entertaining content ended up pushing me over the edge and greening out for the first time. The night started off normal enough. I was watching Diva twerk compilations, Ice Spice full view oiled up bust down 4K while off a few gummies as I do every night. When I had a thought come to me, I haven't left my bed in like a week. I need to get into some video material mischief right now or else I'm gonna felled off. So I took another 2 gummies and shot a text over to none other than the absolute legend Roderick himself. Bro, I need you to come over to my house this instant, please, please, please. All right, bro, I got you. I'll be there in a minute. Roderick pulled up instantly with his massive stature and Greek godlike appearance and was clutching none other than his epic weed in one hand and a bag of some yummies in the other. Shutting the door behind ourselves, I gave Roderick massive greetings into my humble abode, and seeing what he had brought, I knew exactly what was about to go down. So we sat on the couch and began to do our thing. We both ended up taking about 1 million hits each before finally giving it a bit of a break. And let me tell you, at this point, I was already feeling higher than something that's really tall. Now scrolling YouTube, I saw a gym motivational video pop up in my recommended. I don't usually watch these types of things, but having been reading Vagabond and practicing the way of the samurai, I was feeling strong and in need of constant self-improvement. And being as high as I was, this seemed like exactly the thing that would push me beyond my human limits. We watched the whole thing in silence, but the raw emotion was louder than anything I've ever felt. The only noise we made was at the end, where we both let out mighty roars, ready to take on any foe. Bro, I need conflict! Hey, let's bust out the push-ups, why don't we, my brother? Come on, let's just get on the floor. As soon as we stood up, I found it really hard not to stumble around and realized there was no actual way for me to do anything. Neither of us were really able to move, and even if we did, we'd probably hurt ourselves. Okay, bro, I can't actually do this. Let's just watch people work out on the TV instead. Alright, dude, but the punishment for not working out right now is that we have to smoke more weed, which I gladly accepted. And in this very moment, I knew exactly what I had to do.
Bro.
Oh, yeah? I have to smoke endless weed and green out for views. It's what the people want. I have to persevere for those massive YouTube numbers. Us both finding this idea very funny, Roderick and I did a few more rotations of that smoky to really send ourselves flying. Finishing up this round, we decided it would probably be best if we got one other person in here to help me keep on my mission. So we decided to hit up our boy Cameron to come over and make sure we were able to keep focused. He eventually came over, and when we opened the door for him, we were nothing more than shells of our former selves. We had smoked ourselves into mere husks of who we used to be. But I was still talking coherent enough that Cameron knew his job wasn't complete. Hey, how's it going, lads? Not good. I don't think I can handle this anymore. I might have gone over my head for this one, dude. That's all right, bro. That's why I'm here. Think of the views, dude. Let the views motivate you. Just seeing Cameron's shining smile motivated me to go a little further. I took a few more hits, but not nearly enough to green out. But I was high enough to be brain dead. After a few minutes had passed, I heard another knock at my door. My first thought I had to myself was, oh, Cameron must have gotten here, forgetting he had arrived minutes ago. When I opened the door, it was actually some missionaries that had came from the church, inviting me to a local event they were hosting. I start to panic here. I couldn't even remember that Cameron had entered my house, so I knew I couldn't communicate with the missionaries. Oh, you guys, hey, come here, come over here. My words were bullshit, but sounded convincing enough to be real. I got Cameron to the door and ran away to hide. Oh yeah, Cameron already got here. He took care of those guys for me real good. The missionary encounter had shaken me up a bit and faltered my motivation visibly. I'm struggling here, my boy. You're gonna need to do something real moving to get me any further, Cameron. Then he did something I never expected him to do in my life. In an act of true selflessness and purity, he ate his first ever edible for my sake. Now that I'm gonna be high for the first time, boys, you gotta do this. Having witnessed such a manly and awesome moment, I now knew what had to be done. I wasn't gonna let anything stop me. Not even the dizziness that was absolutely beginning to obliterate me, just like I do to Ice Spice, could stop me. I took another gummy and took one last giant rip of the bong. And just like that, it was all over. My moment had finally come. After a few minutes, I began feeling the full effects. I was getting incredibly dizzy and nauseous. Standing became a near impossible task, and just the sound of Roderick and Cameron talking felt overstimulating and overly loud to the point I couldn't handle it. Honestly, this part gets kind of a little fuzzy in my mind, but I eventually managed to get carried upstairs to my bed, now unable to even get words out of my mouth. And in this instant, I immediately knew that I was just like Drake because I was out like a light. So not too long ago, I got pretty close with my plug to the point where I just kind of would chill at his place, smoke, and play some games with him. If you've ever been over to one of your plug's places, you know they always have the best cribs. This guy had those big old couches in his basement, the ones that kind of go all around the room in a C type shape. He had bean bags. There was even a little aquarium so you could watch fish swim around while you're off that Zaza. It's always just the prime place to be. I live in a fairly smaller town too, so this guy wasn't just my plug, but the plug. This guy would just leave the door open and let people come into his home, pick up whatever they were getting, and go on their way. So people were constantly in and out of the place throughout the night, and I got to see a lot of interesting people and interactions in this time. The thing that set this guy apart from any of the other plugs that I've ever known is the way that he makes his transactions. He's got his Cash App and his Venmo set up, of course, and he takes cash, but that was only when there was money involved. Sometimes the things this guy would take weren't even money. This guy would be trading the most random things for his weed as long as it interested him enough. Hey bro, I got this tire here. I've dismantled it from like a neighboring resident's vehicle if you're interested in that. Oh yeah, bro, that'll be an ounce. If someone comes in with a Slinky and he wants it, he'll trade it for weed. Somebody comes in with a Happy Meal from McDonald's. If he's hungry enough, he'll trade it for weed. One time, some guy came in with a fish in a bag, like those little carnival fishes that you win. He thought that the plug would want it to add to his aquarium that he had, but he just turned the guy down, which I think is pretty reasonable. This guy would collect such an amalgamation of the most random items as long as he wanted them. One of the most legendary moments was when this guy traded his PS5 and a controller with a copy of Demon Souls for a half pound of weed. We stayed up all night playing with this thing. It was a blast. We had a few friends that would stream on Twitch too, so we pulled them up on the PS5, and the plug would just type things in the chat like, if you ace this round, we'll give you free weed. He would act like he was Mr. Beast giving out money, but it was gas, bro. He was giving out weed. One of the strangest things that he traded for weed was probably a 12-piece chicken McNugget from McDonald's for a gram of weed. These guys just pulled up to buy some weed from him, and he saw they had McDonald's in their car, and I guess he was just that hungry, so he decided to make the trade. But that's not the only time that he would trade food for weed. Matter of fact, food was probably one of the most common things that he would take from people. He would even text previous customers if they would bring him food for weed, and they always would. This guy had the whole town at his fingertips. This was his own personal DoorDash service. I'm pretty sure there were even a good amount of days where he was just straight up not profiting because of the amount of food he would have people bring him would not be proportional to the cost of the weed. He was addicted to that late night Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch, so much so that it was putting him out of business. There was even times where what he would be trading weed for were not even material objects. Hey bro, if you can do a backflip, I'll give you some weed. All right, good job. Now do another one. All right, good job. There you go. I was tight enough with this guy that he would even let me get in on this. And I won't lie, I'm a pretty strong young boy. I would be testing my physical capabilities with these customers. I'd be arm wrestling everyone in town on a 15-game win streak. I'd be doing push-up competitions with these random customers, racing guys up and down the streets. I was letting no one get their weed. I was the gatekeeper. No one got past me. I would be in the gym training just so these people wouldn't beat me for the weed, except for this one dude. His name was legitimately Magnus, and he was just outmatching me in every physical way possible. He was claiming all the weed for himself. That dude was a legend. Being friends with the plug is just an all-around good experience. You get good deals on their stuff, and most of the time they're pretty cool people. There are some weird experiences like that fish guy, but I imagine that's just exclusive to my situation. Real quick before this video ends, I want you guys to understand how grateful I am for all the support that I've been getting on these videos. It's fucking awesome. It's awesome. Thank you. Subscribe. The fabled Dream Blunt rotation is the highest echelon of ZA smoker achievement one can strive for. Not too long ago, there was a day when I almost had my Dream Blunt rotation become a reality. But because of one individual, that dream would quickly become the Nightmare Blunt rotation. Roman, Cameron, and Kevin, we had just moved in with each other, and this was the housewarming party to celebrate the occasion. We had invited over a handful of people we knew, but also there were some unfamiliar faces in the mix as well. The party went smoothly. It was a good time. We had the gas, the drinks, the music. It was bussin' and goated. As the party ended and the people started to leave, there was one man named Ben who just sat there and did not leave our house. We all collectively did not know who this guy was. We don't know who he came with. We don't know how he ended up here, but he was sitting in our living room unmoving. We didn't want to tell him to get out of our house either because the four of us are all beta males, so we were like, he can stay here for a little while, I guess. But then this guy starts to turn on our PS4 without asking anyone and just creates an entirely new account for him on our system called Ben. I don't know if I would describe this as a power move, pure ignorance, or just being a weirdo, but I could not believe what I was witnessing, so I just decided I need to go outside and smoke weed. Same. Let's do it. That sounds like a good idea. So we got the after party blunt rotation outside with Ben, and we start passing this around. Once the blunt gets over to Ben, he commits a real atrocity, and not just double, but triple dips the blunt before passing it over to me. This is where Ben became a real enemy to me. But the rest of the roommates were still cutting him slack as just being some kid that probably wasn't self-aware. Boy, that was good. I'm gonna go step inside now. I want to kill him. Nah, man, you're just hungry. Let's DoorDash some food. So we ordered a load of Mr. Beast burgers for the meme. And as we walked inside, Ben had created an entire new Skyrim save and was watching that cutscene with the horse in the carriage. So, you're playing Skyrim? Yep. This was the end of the line for Ben. In this moment, we knew this guy was probably gonna be staying in our house for a lot longer than we wanted, and we were all done with him. Come with me, boys. Everyone follows me into my room, and I tell them, what the fuck is this guy doing? Bro, he's gotta go, bro. He's gonna be here for hours if we don't do anything. I'll fuck him up, bro. I'll punch his teeth out. Why would we do that before just telling him to leave the house, dude? He's so brain dead. Why would he even do this shit, bro? True. Okay, so what's the best way to get him out of here without being assholes? I don't want to just tell him straight up. What if we tell him the police are coming so he runs away? Why would the police be coming? That makes no sense. True. We could make him really uncomfortable so that he leaves. I like that idea. What if we make this worse for him than it is for us? That way, he'll just want to leave. Then Roman looks at his phone and notices through our scheming, the Beast Burgers had been delivered a few minutes ago. The four of us walk out to see Ben had already brought our Mr. Beast burgers inside. Not just that, but he had eaten a burger despite us not ordering him food. Not just that, but it was my Chandler burger he was eating. So we just shut the door and go back into my room. There's no time for Beast Burger. We need to get this guy gone now. So the four of us devise a devious scheme to remove Benjamin. This wasn't about us wanting to be polite and indirectly getting the message of,
excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?
This was about how we can make this guy pay for the crimes that he has committed. So the four of us get our guns and load them up. We go over to the air conditioning and turn it to the coldest possible option. Once the house was freezing, we all point our guns at him and shoot him. They were water guns, by the way. And since the house was cold, the water was very chilly. Why are you doing this? You ate my Chandler burger, bro. You gotta go home. So Ben runs out of our house to never be seen again. But the creepy part is the next morning, we texted the people we knew at the party to find out who brought him. We wanted to know who knew Ben. The thing was, nobody knew who Ben was. I guess Ben was just a random dude who saw a party and decided to walk into it, eat a Chandler burger, and play Skyrim, which honestly, with that story, I kind of respect. Thank you all for 2,000 entire subscribers. Alright, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. Edibles are cheeky little buggers. You never know exactly what you'll get from them. Sometimes you'll eat one and feel nothing. Sometimes you'll eat one and feel everything. And sometimes you'll eat one, think you feel nothing. So you eat another and another until all you feel is pain everywhere. The trick is simply getting them from trustworthy sources and being a little patient with the gummy. But somehow this seems too hard for most people, myself included. I was neither patient nor safe this fateful afternoon, which made for my most intense edible experience ever. Now, this was back in high school, so getting from a reliable source isn't as easy as it is now. Instead of getting the edibles from a dispensary, you have to get them from Howard, a grade above you, that claims he definitely is the Heisenberg of edibles and can cook up the best stuff. It doesn't help that I was surely at the peak of Mount Stupid on the Dunning-Kruger effect curve, where my confidence was at at an all-time high with weed, and my experience was very low. I was naive in the face of Howard's homemade edibles, so I bought a batch of them after school, took them home for the weekend, and prepared for an epic freaking time while I had the house to myself. You already know, before I ate these, I was showing them off to the boys. I was like, look at the fresh booty this young boy got his hands on. But I wasn't about wasting time. It was business time. It was time to eat the edibles. I started by just eating one of the 4 I had bought. And right from the moment it touched my tongue, I could taste just how weed infested these brownies were. But I got it down. Then with every passing second, I analyzed how I felt. And when you think about time that hard, it makes it feel like it passes way slower than it actually does. What feels like 30 minutes is actually 10, and what feels like a weak edible is actually a bombshell that hasn't gone off. So I thought, this one should have hit by now. I guess it's just weak. If this is how 1 feels, I can definitely take an extra 2. And we all know how this goes. As all of these edibles hit at once, my body is instantly, essentially paralyzed. I got the cotton mouth of a lifetime, which marked the only time in my life where I wanted water more than pussy, money, or weed. So I just lay here like, god damn, I didn't sign up for this. So I try and roll over to get my phone and text the boys group chat that I was on my deathbed. But my body couldn't roll over without me using 100% of my brain power to do so. As I picked up my phone, it felt insanely heavy. I had the 40-pound iPhone. The phone was just way too heavy for me to pick up, so I was left with one option. I couldn't text. I had to send a voice memo. Yo, guys, this shit is hitting for real. I think I need help. Send over the reinforcements to my place. I'm dying. Which was a pretty funny message to follow from the previous one. So once the message was out, so was I. My body shut down for I don't even know how long. But when I came back into consciousness, it was like I was viewing myself laying in the bed from a third-person view. This didn't last long though, because I got back to my body pretty quickly. But for a moment there, when I saw myself, I thought that I had died and I was leaving my body, but somehow I rationalized myself out of it and thought, there's no way I'm dying. I'm just on a lot of drugs. People always think they're gonna die when they're like this. I don't know how I was able to rationalize myself out of thinking I was dying, considering how high I was, but I guess I'm just the GOAT. I can just do it. So I look over at my phone and I see that Roman is calling me. What's up, bro? Are you good, bro? Partially. Come over to my house though. So we came over with Cole and Adam, and as they rang the doorbell, I was faced with a real dilemma. Shit. How am I gonna let them into my house? So I tried to stand up, but instantly just fell on the ground. I had to crawl on the ground over to the stairs, and I just fell down them. I was way too high. There was honestly no other way I could get down, but I was also so high I didn't feel pain from falling down the stairs, so it was all good. I unlocked the door still on the ground with my toes and then just kicked it as hard as I could to let them know they could come in. The 3 of them stood over my lifeless body and asked, "Bro, are you okay? How do you feel?" So I reached into my pocket and I pulled out the last brownie. "Boys, eat this. You'll know a fraction of what I've been through if you eat this, but I need water first." So I get my water, and surprisingly the 3 of them just split the brownie and ate it like that. I guess high school boys are just that desperate they go feral at the sight of any free weed. I wanted to be transported to the couch, so I got picked up from my limbs and brought over to the most comfy couch I've ever felt. We turned on the TV and the first channel that was on was Paw Patrol. It was incomprehensible to me. Then I got some of the most devilish munchies in my life. So I postmated Chipotle. But at this time, the 3 of these boys were also starting to feel the munchies. Despite eating that small portion of the brownies, it was hitting them enough. So Adam was like, "Bro, I'm so hungry." And my high ass replied, "Oh, me too, don't worry. worry, I'm gonna get Postmates. And I ordered another Chipotle burrito for me and Adam, forgetting that I had ordered the Postmates prior. I guess the group of these 3 guys picked up on this, so they started to get me to order as much Postmates as they could. Once the burritos started coming in, I'm freaking out because I don't understand where all of these orders are coming from. I thought I had discovered a real-life infinite food glitch because 4 different orders and 7 different burritos were delivered to my house. But alas, it was just my friends sucking me dry of every cent I have. So we got all of our burritos, brought them in a big pile, we held our hands around the burritos, and we prayed for this meal. We prayed to God and thanked him for this bountiful feast we had. And with that, there were 2 extreme lessons I learned this night. Don't buy edibles from Howard, and don't trust your friends. They will try and get as many burritos out of you as they can. Okay, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. Being high and alone is something I like, but you know what isn't? Addiction. And if you're watching this video, there's a 99% probability that we share the same addiction, and that's short form content. I go on these jaunts just about every non-consciously waking moment of my life. So this particular night of me being high and alone served to free me of this terrible addiction, because every time I opened short form content throughout the night, I made myself eat an extra edible in an act of hopefully stopping my addiction. But it only kinda worked. Here's what happened. Right off rip, after eating this gummy, I cleaned my entire house. I was an unstoppable force of cleanliness off these gummies. But afterward, I quickly went back to my addiction. Not YouTube Shorts, I mean gambling.
This is gonna be huge. I'm gonna open a freaking case, dude. Holy crap. Oh, alright.
But I felt that if I was to truly free myself of addiction, I probably shouldn't make exceptions. So I ate another gummy after this as well. Then I instantly opened Snapchat and went onto the shorts because I'm not very smart, which meant another one down the hatch. I had already eaten 3 gummies, so I knew I needed a foolproof strategy that would ensure I wouldn't watch any more shorts. I decided to attack the problem at its roots, which is my attention span. I needed a way to fully reset my mind, and my idea to do so was a kind of strange approach in hindsight. The plan was to sit down in an empty room and just exist with myself and my drywall. I sat there and stared at drywall with as much mental focus as I could possibly exert for as long as I could. I would start to feel my focus wavering periodically. The only thing this ended up actually accomplishing, though, was giving myself a headache, which is ironically exactly what YouTube Shorts do as well. Alright, so the drywall strat, it's not working. Maybe I just watch full-length YouTube videos instead. Maybe that will fix me. This was a worse idea than the drywall. The YouTube app did that thing where it opens into shorts, so I start watching a handful of these before realizing what I've done. I ate another edible, but to be honest, YouTube Shorts had admittedly fed me some interesting slop this time around. I was watching a big, strong, shirtless, hot man climb a boulder, which got me in a real mood to watch more men climbing rocks. I was relentless with the men rock climbing videos. I watched Olympic climbing. I watched little men climbing. I watched big men climbing. All this climbing made me want to climb myself. So I bought a membership at a climbing gym. I haven't used it yet, but eventually whenever I do, I bet it'll be pretty cool. In an attempt to feel the triumphant victory of climbing rocks, I ended up climbing onto my bed from the floor, which isn't as impressive, but I thought it was pretty cool. Then out of left field, YouTube recommendation threw a real curveball at me. Teen Titans Go movie magic. This video hit the spot like nothing before. This show is just so goated. I was watching it so involved and entranced by the funniness and bright colors. Although I was really lost in the plot here. I didn't realize this while I was high, but this is actually like 5 videos strung together into one. Somehow I still managed to follow some kind of plot despite there not being one, which is something quite impressive. But this whole time, I couldn't stop thinking about how funny Robin was. This dude has to be the best written character of the millennium. I really came to realize the delicate intricacies of his character here. The only downside of this show is that it's bright and fast and really cool. Just like everything else, it was bad for my attention span. I needed to find some other method to fix myself. I search on Google how to slow attention span and find find this article. After reading it, at the end, they recommend behavior therapy, which I don't need. So the article was shit and it didn't help me at all. Considering that the other things in this article were chewing gum and drinking water, I came to realize after reading this that I'm actually doing everything perfectly and optimally for fixing my attention span, if that's really all it takes. I guess I'm just left to live in torment and evil constantly. Afterward, I went down a massive YouTube rabbit hole, so I'll just give you some of the good ones before I went bye-bye sleep time for the night. And trust me, the last one will change something in you. So I watched how to turn a Lego man into meth. Then I watched pirate videos about how to be pirates. Those ones were pretty sweet. I learned how to become the Pope. I watched this video and legitimately did not listen to one word for the entire 30 minutes. I watched for an hour about the Napoleonic Wars. I've never given a squat about history at all in my life, so I don't know why I watched this, but it was interesting. I found out how to board an airplane. Then I watched a ton of these kid gaming videos and they went so hard. But the biggest video I watched was this one. This video is something special. Anyways, subscribe. I haven't gotten high in school very often, and anyone who has gotten high in school would know why. It always sounds like a good idea at first, but in practice, it can be so goddamn scary. Now, this story isn't just about me getting high, but instead the whole squad was smoking in class. And under those circumstances in mind, you know shit had to have gone down, and it did. So it was the first day back to school from summer break, and it was the morning of that day before the classes had started. As the nature of the first day of school goes, I was pissed off, and so was my boy Roderick, the same guy from the mushroom story. We were pissed we had to be back in this place, but it also was sick to see everyone I didn't see over the summer. So we were greeting everyone in the grade, catching up in the hallways, when none other than the man himself, Kevin, comes through the doors, beelines straight to the two of us and whispers in our ears, "Bro, meet me in the handicapped stall real quick. I got something to tell you." Which, may I add, is an insane way to greet someone on the first day back from summer break, but we followed him into the bathroom to see what was up. As we walked in, Kevin is standing on the toilet like he is about to give a speech to us and says, "Guys, none of the three of us want to be here. Wouldn't you guys agree?" And we nodded our heads in agreement. "Then why don't we go somewhere else?" And this guy pulls out not just one, but 3 different wax pens, and our mouths are agape. Keep in mind, I rarely smoked at this time, so to see not just one, but 3 wax pens that this dude had brought into the school was the craziest thing I had ever witnessed. I was like, no way we're smoking right here and right now. And Kevin said, "Not yet. See, I've been dreading the first day of school for a long time now. So I've thought up a way to make it a little more interesting. I want to play a game. We each carry a pen on us for the entirety of the day. Every time somebody says some dumb shit, you have to take a hit. And if you don't get caught all day, you get to keep the pen. But if you get caught, you owe me $50. In one moment, I was going about my ordinary day in school, and in the next, I'm choosing which pill I'm gonna take, and you know I took the green pill, and so did Roderick. I won't lie, the speech had us getting hyped in this bathroom stall. If anyone was in the bathroom at the time, I feel like they probably would have gotten the wrong idea. But anyways, we had to plan our day. We all brought out our schedules to see which classes we shared. I shared Spanish with Roderick, math I was with both, English I was alone for, and study hall I had the 2 of them again. But the bell rang and me and Roderick headed over to Spanish and departed from Kevin. As we walked into the classroom, we agreed we wouldn't sit next to each other, so if one person came down, the other wouldn't come down with them. And it would be easier to stay undercover, so we both sat in the back corners of the class. The class started and the teachers were going over the syllabus when this kid raised his hand and asked, "When we get our assignments, do you want our names in English or Spanish?" Me and Roderick just stared at each other from across the class after that. We knew what we had to do. As soon as the teacher turned around to the whiteboard, we took a hit, but then she turned around and we just had to hold in the smoke until she turned around again. And once I did, I started coughing loud. I couldn't hold it in that long. So I crossed my arms and put my head down, and no one thought anything of it, but it was close. The class went on and we got out of that one safe, although those wax pens, if you've ever smoked them before, hit hard. So even though I only took one hit, I was already feeling it as we walked to math. We got to the class first, and as Kevin walked in, he looked so fucked up. I was like, bro, what happened to you? And all he replied with was, it was Liam, bro. And then just took a seat before I could respond. Lord have mercy on his soul. Let me tell you, math was a dreadful class to get through. Not because of the challenge. We didn't even have to smoke once during this period. It was just the munchies, bro. Lunch was the next period, and I was fiending for that school lunch. The most entertaining thing that happened to that class was that I sat across from Kevin, staring him straight on, and he just kept nodding out of existence and coming back. This guy was on another planet, and it was only 10 in the morning. Once lunch came, I spent like $20 on snacks, but they were all out of the vending machine, which was a process I did not have the patience for. Waiting for the food to come down just felt like an eternity. The squad linked up, and I tried to get more information on what happened to Kevin during first period. Can you elaborate on what happened to you earlier, bro? Liam, bro, he had to introduce himself, and he said he likes kids. He didn't realize how bad that sounded, bro. But he really said it. And to be honest, me and Roderick, we just decided to take a hit right there after hearing that out of respect for what he had gone through. Once the bell rang, I started stressing because my next class was alone. I lost my supports and I had to face English class like a real stoic man. I sat down. I don't remember exactly what the question was, but I do know that some kid said something that I had to smoke to. So I had to take a hit. Then the guy next to me leans over and looks into my eyes and just nods. I was sitting next to the school stoner Bradley. Bradley saw this and asked, yo, can I get one, bro? So respectfully, I handed him the pen and with no remorse for his own life proceeded to blow it straight into the air, and of course the teacher noticed and walked over. I thought it was all over for me in this moment, but he just ended up sending Bradley to the office. But the thing is that he still had my pen on him when he left. This guy, 200 IQ, outplayed me and purposefully got sent to the office so he could take the pen for himself. I don't know if that was actually his plan, but that's just what it seemed like to me. Once English ended, I walked into study hall, and this part was the hardest part of the challenge to overcome. If you've had study hall before, you know how silent the class is. So I'm trying to tell these two how I got my pen stolen, but I'm so high I cannot control how loud I'm being, and I just can't communicate what happens. I guess they both deemed that to be smokable, so they both took a hit, and as they exhaled, I couldn't help but just laugh at myself, and I laughed loudly, which alerted the teacher and got Roderick and Kevin caught. But since I got my pen stolen, I got away from it. I didn't have anything on me. They got sent to the front office, and I had to wait out the next hour of this class in an excruciating silence, just paranoid that somebody was gonna come after me. But at the end of the day, nothing happened of it, so I technically won the challenge and got to keep the pen. But since it got stolen, I really just got nothing. But I'm glad I won though, because if I had lost, I would have had to fork over $50 and a new pen. So I dodged a bullet there. So while I didn't get anything, at least I didn't lose. You know the drill. I get dangerously high by myself, track everything I do on my notes app, and tell the story of the actual brain-rotting activities I get up to. But this time, there's a little twist. Before I got high, I texted my boys group chat to ruin me tonight. They could call me, text me, or just send whatever heinous dung they can at any time throughout the night that would mess with me or just make a funny moment. So here's what happened. After eating my special gummies, the first thing I wrote down in my notes was watermelon with no melon. I guess I found this video so impressive, I just had to share it. Anyway, Anyways, let me set a scene for you. As the gummies came into effect, the first thought I had to myself was, I want my big Oreos. So I walk myself downstairs into my dimly lit kitchen, fill my favorite coffee mug with warm milk, and start solemnly munching on these porcelain big Oreos, one intimate bite at a time. As it turns out, I only had 3 Oreos in my bag, which left me with a real problem. I got no more Oreos, but so much milk. Without thinking, I trotted up from my seat, walked over to my little tree, and poured my milk into the soil as if it was water. It took me a minute to mentally process that I had given a tree milk until it finally hit me. Wait, no. Trees can't have milk. That's my favorite tree. What have I done? In tears, I frantically search on Google, what happens if a tree drinks milk? After a long search, I learned that milk is actually good for plants. Not just milk is good, but spoiled milk is too. It's actually a good way of making bad milk useful, so that was kind of interesting. Now I'm sitting here thinking about milk. I can't fully explain the thought process behind this moment, but I brought my ass over to YouTube and searched top 10 milk. And just watch this. Why is it so loud? Why would this be the intro to top 10 milk? Anyways, the first milk was Safeway, which isn't even milk, it's a grocery store. But I used to work there, so I commented, so helpful, plus I love Safeway. This comment was a little premature though, because after giving such praise 10 seconds into the video, I decided to skip to the end to see what is the world's greatest milk. This was a terrible mistake that turned all my praise into pure unadulterated rage. They said the best milk is Borden. Are you joking? You have to be smoking crack to genuinely believe Borden is the best milk there is. So rationally, I replied to my original comment with a nasty and hateful reply. As I hit send on the comment, my messages start getting spammed with a constant influx of this deranged dog image coming in from 5 separate people. There had been an organized attack on my iPhone messages, and the dinging wouldn't stop until I got a phone call from someone with no caller ID. I pick up the phone. Hello? And this is exactly what I heard back. Is this Borden? Do I need to repent? Do I need to repent for the sins that I spoke on your milk, Borden? And before there was a reply, my phone crashed from the constant dog images that were still going through that whole time. Holy shit, I made a terrible mistake. But then, as if God's light came shining down at me in my darkest time, as I turned my phone back on, the image of the dog had changed. He was so happy now, grinning ear to ear. It was a beautiful sight. Seeing him smile back at me gave me such a sigh of relief. So I felt I'd treat myself to a little Chipotle queso. I ordered from Postmates and the driver's name was Quentin. And I promise you, this is a detail that comes back. As I'm waiting for my Postmates, I go back on YouTube to see something that truly pissed me off. The video was called Strongest Energy Drinks Comparison, which I thought sounded pretty cool. I was interested in what the world's strongest energy drink was. I click on the video and every single energy drink has 320 milligrams of caffeine. Like, it does not stop. The drinks just keep going and they never change. I keep thinking to myself, oh, the next one's gotta be stronger. It's not gonna be 320 milligrams of caffeine, and it never is. I was blown away by the asinine shit this video was, so much so that I left a hate comment. And then I got a neighborhood watch alert from the Ring app that there was a shooting nearby. This was one of the best things that had happened to me this night because it gave me a great idea. If you didn't know, the Ring app has a feature where you can create a post that gets sent out to every single person that has the app in a multiple mile wide radius. I had never done this before, but just the thought to have that much power, sending a direct message to so many people at once, seemed a little too good to be true. But I wanted to figure out if I could do it, if it was possible. First, I would have to figure out what the post was going to be. I thought back to everything that had happened to me this night. That dog with the massive grin. The Postmates driver named Quentin. Everything came together as I uploaded the dog image and gave it the title Dog Acquired and made my masterpiece. Dog alert, we found Quentin. Thank you everyone that helped look for Quentin, but you can finally stop because the search is over. Here he is, happy as ever now that he's home and safe. He must have gone on quite the adventure. I thought this post seemed pretty believable, and so did the people working for Ring, since my post made it through the auto moderation and was sent out to the public. This was a massive success. Not gonna lie, I felt pretty awesome after pulling off the Quentin scheme, so I went upstairs and ate more of my gummies. This would ultimately feed into a dark cycle though, because once I started playing Fortnite, in between every game, I would forget that I had eaten a gummy and I would go for more. I don't know how many of these I ended up having, but I had enough that I tragically forgot the Chipotle queso waiting for me at the door that the real Quentin had delivered for me so graciously. I was just like Drake off these gummies, because after I ate all of them, I was out like a light. And that's the end of the story. Subscribe. Bye. I've mentioned how getting high at school can be stressful, but getting high at work is just fucked. I mean, at school, you just have to be quiet and keep your head down and hope nobody notices. At work, you actually have to do work, so the difficulty and the risk factors are way higher in my opinion, especially if you're working in some kind of retail job, because then you got to communicate with other human beings. In my case, I served my time as an honorary Safeway employee, and the job made me want to kill myself. I swear, human beings were not built for the 9 to 5 minimum wage grind. These jobs will just suck the goddamn soul out of you like no other. If I didn't smoke at work, I would have gone bananas. Now, I've smoked a good few amount of times while at work, but there was one particular day where I got a little confident in my ability and smoked too much. I had an 8-hour shift ahead of me from 2 to 10, where I had to alternate each hour from sweeping and cleaning. The thing about these days is that they were by far the easiest days on the job, hence the overconfidence. I got to work, started smoking, and clocked in. And the beginning of my shift went pretty well. I was sweeping like a king. I was cleaning like a king. Eventually, the monotony got to me after an hour or so I smoked a little more. Almost instantly, I knew I smoked a little too much. I'd be going around to each of the store's little departments, forgetting if I had cleaned them or not. I'd be sweeping every other aisle without realizing I was. It was bad. Eventually, once I got to cleaning the bathroom, I just locked myself in there and sat on the toilet to collect my thoughts. Alright, I'm obviously way too high right now to do my job. What can I do about this? Well, I could eat food, but then I'd have to wait until my break. Or I could just sneak a little treat. I need to find a way to avoid work. I think letting time do its thing is the best play here. So I left the bathroom with this plan to finish my cleaning and then just hide in the break room until the next hour came and I had to sweep. As I was walking through the store, I walked by the bakery and those goddamn donuts were just enticing to me. I couldn't resist the urge to just take a donut, but I didn't think any further past that, so I grabbed the donut, but I couldn't eat it because people would see that I was eating the donut and stealing it. So quickly, I thought up the idea to just shove the donut into my pocket and then I would eat it once I got to the break room. I went on to do my job, but then I saw my manager approach me. Oh fuck, she knows I'm high, bro. She knows I'm high. She knows about the donut too. It's all over. I'm gonna lose my fucking job.
Excuse me, but Jared told me that you didn't clean the toilet.
When I had went into the bathroom earlier, I forgot to clean it, and this goddamn guy Jared narked me out. Oh, my bad. I'll go and do that now. Then I had to go back to the bathroom and watch Jared teach me how to clean a toilet. I was just watching this man filled with real, unfiltered, primal rage. See, man, you just gotta put a little elbow grease into it just like this. Fuck you, Jared. Afterward, I went to the break room as planned and I ate this nasty donut that had been sitting in my pocket for the past 10 minutes. But my plan to hide here was successful. Once it was time to do my sweeps, I barely swept. I won't even lie, but I finished it in like 10 minutes and then I hid in the break room for the next 50. The next time I had to go to the bathroom to clean it, I was like, I really gotta clean this toilet well or else Jared is gonna come for my ass again. So what I did next was look through the storage closet for a literal product called elbow grease. I was too high to realize that elbow grease was not an actual thing. So I went over to Jared and I was like, hey bro, I can't find that elbow grease. And he just stared at me for like 3 seconds of silence. And then I saved it and went, I'm joking. And I just walked away. I still thought that elbow grease was a thing. I didn't put it together. I just was gonna go and clean it without the elbow grease. I ended up doing my little break room exploit for the rest of the day, and by the end of my shift, I was feeling sober. On my way home when I was driving, I realized, wait a minute. See, man, you just gotta put a little elbow grease into it just like this. Damn. Fuck you, Jared. The relationship with the plug is more impactful on your life as that of your parents. But what precedes that relationship with the plug is a constant and brooding struggle to find the one. Those moments when you struggle to find a plug at the climax of a dark and damp boys' night, it's a formative canon event that bonds us all. Sometimes you come out the trenches dry and you and your boys throw in the towel on finding a plug. But when the gang clutches up and secures that last minute plug for the night, the moment is nothing shy of pure bliss. I can't imagine any other scenario more intense. And an intense night was surely ahead of me and the boys when a very tantalizing Friday night opportunity presented itself during the before school round table discussion. Boys, who's trying to get into a little trouble tonight? Oh, you couldn't possibly mean. I think you lads know exactly what I mean. Alright, so you got any of that skiddly diddly hopscotch diddle drip on you, bro? Nope. Yeah, my pockets are empty. Oh, damn. Well, I guess we've got to get a plug on our hands. And right then, phase 1 of the plug struggle began. As all desperate high schoolers do when in need of a little grass, we all spammed everyone we have added on our Snapchat. We all tried different approaches, starting with the simple and to the point method. Anyone got grass? We tried the desperate attempt. Hey, bro, please, does anyone have weed? I need it so bad, bro. And we even tried the really desperate method. Hey bro, would you trade a couple dozen tamales for a perk? And by the time the gang got back together after our first few periods, it was like, alright boys, let's see the plugs for tonight. What did you all get? The only snap I got back was a picture of this girl's forehead. What about you guys? I got the left side of her face, but I think she wants me, bro. Damn, all I got was left undelivered by Team Snapchat. I think it was safe to say phase 1 was a complete train wreck. So next was on to phase 2. The second phase of our plug struggle was just straight up going up to every group we could find at lunch and asking them if they had a plug. Yo, you guys got a plug?
Yeah, so let's see, we got iPhone plugs. Let's see, we got another iPhone plug. What do you have, Sarah? Let's see, I got an iPhone plug.
You guys know a plug? Listen here, little boy. Bow down when you talk to me so I can hold you still and make sweet love to that little pretty face. Yo, you guys know a plug I can use for tonight? Oh, yeah, bro. Here, I'll give you a snap. And just like that, Roman brought all of the boys together. For phase 2 of the plan was a monumental success. The anticipation for this night followed the three of us until school finally let out and we could make the moves towards phase 3. Messaging the plug. So we hit him up like, hey bro, we're trying to acquire tonight. You up, baby? And he's like, yeah man, meet me here at 9 p.m. tonight. And just like that, we had a time and place. The plug struggle was really looking like it was coming to an end. It was a bright future for the boys. So when night fell, we all sat there on Roderick's bed, kicking our legs and twiddling our thumbs for the clock to strike 9. And once the time came, we all sprinted out the house and drove 150 miles an hour to the location. But when we got to the spot, we were starting to get a really bad feeling. As it turned out, the location this plug wanted to meet us at had to be the most suspect, dark, and desolate public park we could have ever been to. We're looking around for this guy from the car and don't see anyone. We thought there was gonna be no time before red and blue lights start flashing. But then we get a Snapchat from the plug like, is that you that just pulled up? And we're like, yeah, that's us. So then he replies with, come into the playground. I'm in the fucking slide. The three of us walked into the playground and bro was not lying. He was sitting in the slide. So what you guys want tonight? We want weed. I know, but like, we would like a joint for the each of us. Oh, I only got carts. Damn, alright, well that's cool, we'll take that. So we make the exchange and this dude only gives us the cart with no battery. So what about the battery, bro? Oh, I don't sell batteries, I only have carts. We thought this guy was scamming us. I mean, we can't do this shit with just a cart. But that's when the plug explains weaker wires to us. Yeah, man, all you gotta do is cut a phone charger in half and you can use the wires to power the battery. It gets you really high though, so be careful. Oh, wow. So the girls at school did know what they were talking about. Now, we didn't want to question this plug anymore because we weren't about to get pushed down a slide or whatever this dude would do to us. So the three of us just trusted his word, even though that sounded like it couldn't possibly work, and considered phase 3 a kind of success. So we drove back to Roderick's, and phase 4 to smoke the carts was initiated. We were stressing about the information this plug told us and if it was true or not. Alright, so who's gonna be the sacrifice to try this first? I don't know, bro. What if this explodes in our faces and kills us? Damn, true. It can't be that bad. I feel like nothing's gonna happen. So you want to do it? I'm down, bro. I'll be the sacrifice. Oh, damn. So we set up the wires like the plug told us, and Roderick starts sucking this cart out of an iPhone charger. Yo, no way. Ain't no way that's working, bro. Bro, do you feel high? Did it really work? Bro, it's like I hit the cart, but the house was the battery. No way. He's for sure high, dude. So what's it feel like? Is it good for us to smoke? Dude, I mean, help yourself, but this shit is hitting me like a fucking semi-truck. Roderick got ubiquitously sent into the shadow realm from that hit. It turns out that when you use tweaker wires, it makes you tweak. The electricity heats up the oil way hotter than a battery does, which in turn puts more weed particles into the inhalation, and in turn makes you higher than you could ever imagine. Damn, I guess it's either we get too high or we aren't high at all. Nah, man. I know one way. I know a method. I didn't want to do this, but my cousin can get some for you guys. Oh, for real? Alright, so what's his number? It's 54. No, I think it's 4954. No, nah, that ain't it. I think it's 4594. No, that's not it. Bro is too high. Damn. We ended up having to unlock Roderick's phone with his Face ID and texted his cousin on his behalf. Hello, yes, this is Roderick, and I would like to attain some weed for my 2 friends. That sounds professional, bro. And after like 30 minutes, Roderick's cousin pulls up and takes me and Roman to the dispensary. This car ride was so awkward because since Roderick was completely obliterated, he didn't end up coming with us. But cousin Roderick pulled through and got us a battery so we could smoke the cart. After that side quest, we came back to Roderick to see that in the time we were gone, bro postmated Burger King twice. You gotta be on another planet to order Postmates twice, let alone Burger King. He had a POV video of some dude walking through China pulled up on his TV, but upon further inspection, Roderick was completely passed out on the bed with a double whopper still in his hand. But in the end, even though we had one soldier down, phase 4 was a success as well. Me and Roman finally got to smoke the cart, and the plug struggle we went through prior only made the high hit even better. And once we got high, I won't lie, those China videos Roderick had on started to hit. We were straight up entranced by this video, and we came out of this with a whole new appreciation for our plug. So make sure to text your plug you love them and if you can get free weed from them. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye. Throughout all of human history, we've always wondered, is the Fortnite cart real? This image has been endlessly spread throughout ancient cultures, dating back to hieroglyphic scrawlings in caves. Even to this day, the internet has tried to find it for years on end, and nobody has been able to track it down. Rumors started to spread that it was fake, and the Fortnite slurp juice cart wasn't actually real, but a small dedicated community of brave individuals never gave up hope for the Fortnite slurp juice cart because, quote, the high would be so good from it, and I want to feel like I'm in the real battle bus. So as the professional stickman and honorary Jaden animations of weed, I put it upon myself to truly find out if the Fortnite cart was real and if it in fact gave the greatest highs ever. After doing some digging around around the internet, the best source on this topic I found was this Reddit post on r/weed. Clear as day, this individual has the Fortnite cart with the legendary blue THC oil. Reading the comments themselves, things didn't look so good for the investigation. Looks like window washer fluid. Rock on. Cancer speedrun. You should seriously not inhale that. I know it's kinda funny and everything's a joke, but the cart is fucked. Poop_tickle felt extremely passionate about this anti-slurp cart propaganda, but I didn't let it get to me too much. I mean, something being funny has never stopped me from inhaling things in the past, so I kept on my voyage. But then the positive side of the thread started to show itself. Looks real, you should be good. Hit the chug jug. It looked like there were still some believers here who hadn't been gotten by the Reddit brainwash yet. But none of these comments were bringing me any closer to the truth. To take things further, I decided to message the original poster of this image, Blaze_Titan04. And to my surprise, he actually responded. I can't show exact messages since he requested to keep them private as he moves in the shadows on his grind, but he provided an extremely crucial key piece of information. He told me exactly how he acquired his Fortnite slurp cart and who it was from. And best believe it spawns from the depths of Los Angeles. There's a man who runs a small business manufacturing and distributing custom-made THC carts that has the means to make the Fortnite cart a reality. And so I emailed him. Hello, weed legend. I'm a weed man myself and I love weed, but I also love Fortnite. Can you make me the elusive Fortnite cart? Pretty please, I want to smoke that blue. 10 business days later, a mysterious package appears at my doorstep of my house with an evil purple aura shrouding it. I knew this was serious business because one of my generation-long family-employed bush trimmers died bringing the package up from the Ninja engraved iron gate that protects my home. I put on my hazmat suit to carefully extract the Slurpenjamin from the box and ran up to my bedroom to be the first person ever to hit and feel what a Fortnite cart is really made of. What happened next was something I could have never predicted.
Boys, today we have the Fortnite slurp juice cart. It's so rare. Come here, you gotta see this, you gotta see this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, you gotta try this.
Oh my god, dude. Alright, I'm ready.
I actually don't feel good. I don't think you should do that, bro. I don't think you should hit it. Okay, you actually should, bro. I think there's something wrong. I think there's something wrong with that pen. I think there's something wrong. You shouldn't have hit that, bro. Oh, fuck. No. I told you shouldn't hit that shit, bro. Fuck. Don't tell me you took another hit of that thing. No! Stop! I told you not to take another hit of that thing, bro. Come on! No! No, that's not good for you! That's not good for you! It's been 3 days since he hit the Fortnite pen. He's completely changed in all regards. I'll just show you guys. He's just playing. What the fuck? What are you? Hey!
To answer the millennium-old question, no, the slurp juice cart did not make me feel like I was on the battle bus. But I can confirm it does hit in an indescribably different way. Unlike anything I've ever smoked. But different isn't always better though. It was clear this THC was laced with some sort of evil dark enchantment I wouldn't even wish Chains for Real smoked. And because of this immense power, I flushed it down the toilet so it could never be smoked again. Okay, subscribe. I am a freak of nature. I'm one of those psychotic monsters that just get up at 5:30 a.m., go to the gym for an hour, and when I get home, I just think about how much I want to be back at the gym for the rest of the day. I do this like 6 times per week, which can get to be a rigorous schedule, and after a while, can lead to some real burnout. And if burnout is ever affecting you too hard, well, boy, do I have something for you. Going to the gym high can be such a mixed bag, depending on how high you are. Too high and you're just a slug that can't do anything. When you're not high enough, you just don't feel any different. But when you're just high enough, you feel like you have full control of every muscle fiber contraction in your body. This is when you're in the beast mode. Your focus is more acute than it has ever been in your life. By the time the next day comes, You can't get out of your bed. You just can't, you can't walk. Now, I've got a story that involves me and two of my good buddies, Cole and Roman. We all went to the gym high together. We smoked our weed, we dry scooped our pre-workout, we were all in the zone, cracked, completely accepting of the physical torment we were about to put our bodies through. We were at the highest level of human consciousness at this moment. We had reached full enlightenment. It was pull day, which means we had to work our biceps, our backs, and our forearms. At least that's what we planned on doing. So naturally, the first place you go is the pull-up bar to get some pull-ups in. When we got to the bar, Cole thought up a great idea. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do some pull-ups. Once I get off, someone else gets right on. When they get off, the next person gets on, and then it's back to me. We do this until we can't anymore, and the person that backs out last loses. So you'd think this wouldn't be very high stakes, because there's no actual penalty besides losing. As soon as he mentioned this, I knew some real shit was about to go down at this pull-up bar, because I just know these guys so well. You see, this little trio of friendship that we all have has been going on for about a decade now. If you've seen One Piece, it's like Luffy, Ace, and Sabo. The three of us are the most competitive fucks that I know. We had our pride on the line here. Cole jumps up and bangs out about 12 pull-ups. I jump on, I do about the same myself, and so does Roman. The second time around, we're a little weaker, but we're still going strong. We each can get out about like 6 to 8 pull-ups. Third time around, we're starting to get a little gassed. There's really no time for breaks between these sets, so we all can probably get around 3 or 4 at this time. After that, we're only getting 2 pull-ups in each for a few times around, and we add it all up, and we've done about 60 pull-ups at this time between the three of us. At this point, we are fried. All right, guys, we gotta make it to 100. We gotta make it to 100 pull-ups. We're almost there. We're at 60. We gotta push through. We can only do a single pull-up each before we pass it on to the next person at this point. So the time for resting has shrunken to the absolute minimum it can before somebody has to tap out. After an excruciating amount of pull-ups, we finally make it to 100 on Cole's turn. But then he stays on the bar. And after only doing a single pull-up per turn for the past like 5 turns, he looks within himself and he finds the monster. He builds enough strength to bang out 2 pull-ups in 1 turn, putting us at a total of 101 pull-ups. All right, guys, we can't just leave it at 101. We gotta go to 110 pull-ups. At this point, we can't even do pull-ups completely. We just jump up and slowly go down, and then 110 comes. And by the time it does, whoever's on the bar just does another one and brings it to 111. And then we do that all the way to 120, and then we have to go to 130, and then that goes all the way up until in total we had completed 203 total pull-ups between the three of us. This was the limit. We were all done at this point until we went to the dips, and then the whole thing started over again until we did 250 consecutive dips, and then we all proceeded to fucking die. I had never felt a workout this much in my life, and we went home only having done 2 exercises. And you know we had to get that post-workout Chipotle. When it's just right, weed just brings out the demon in me at the gym. Anyways, you better go to the gym right goddamn now. Bye-bye.
What's up, boys? Got another video here at the end. Once again, is a thank you because we got 20,000 subscribers. It's been a long time coming to get to this point. Took us about 12 hours since the last thank you for 10K. So, here's another one. Subscribe.
I've seen videos recently of people telling their experiences going to school high, so I thought I'd share my experience of sneaking into my high school while high. A complete Metal Gear Solid covert operation, breaking into my high school after hours. It was very illegal. And just a disclaimer to anyone watching this, don't follow in my footsteps. This was a bad decision. I could have been locked up for the atrocities I committed this night. and I can't go back, bro. This story starts on a summer afternoon of my senior year. I was at my boy's birthday party. We'll call this particular birthday boy Cameron. There was a handful of others there, but they weren't particularly important to the story, so we'll just call them anonymous individuals. The vibes were peak, and we were out grilling in the backyard, making some of the best food known to man. For Cameron's birthday, his parents got a hotel so that he could invite as many people over as he wanted, which, as you know, means the night came and so did that gas. And for Cameron's birthday, you know we all had to turn up and smoke until we forgot who we were and why we were there. People were throwing up, and at one point I swear this guy just started playing Valorant for no reason. Shit was just happening and it was a good time. As it got pretty late into the night, people started to wind down, but I was still feeling a little nefarious, as I do. I asked around if anyone wanted to go for a walk, but everyone was pretty gone, so this walk of mine became a solo mission. Something about Cameron's house is that he lives about a block away from the school, and I hadn't been there all summer, so I thought it would be fun to walk around the school grounds. And I won't lie, even though the neighborhood is pretty safe and it was only a short walk, being all high and alone at night was starting to get me a little paranoid. It just felt a little too quiet for me, but I think that was really just the weed talking. Also, an important note to add is that my high school is kind of set up in a weird way. There's a main building to the place and a few separate buildings for the classes, and the rest is entirely outdoors. There's no hallways, which made sneaking around the cameras pretty easy because I could just come at the building from any angle. And since I had been going here for a few years, I knew where all the cameras were located at anyways. Despite having this knowledge, my high ass decided to walk straight through the front entrance where there is a camera directly pointed at me. I walked down the center of the courtyard of the school and just tried to open the front door. I could not have been less covert. It was like I did everything in my power to be seen. I don't know why opening the front door was the first thing I did either, because breaking into the school was not my original plan. I just started wanting to get into the building. Eventually, I went over to the side entrance of the building, and for whatever reason, it was unlocked. So I walked in, and it had a very similar feeling to walking into a Toys R Us as a kid. I knew I wasn't supposed to be here, and that made it so much more fun. As I walked in, I passed right by another camera, but I really just didn't give a fuck. I'm pretty sure that one is fake anyways, probably, and I made a beeline for the bathrooms. You know when you have to be in school at night for whatever reason and life just feels different in an indescribable way? It was very similar to that feeling as I stood in this bathroom. Leaving, I noticed this merch table, and I just snatched this black sweatshirt and proceeded to wear it for the rest of the night. I just stole from the school. I tried to get into some of the classrooms, but they were all locked except for the biology room, so I just went in there. It was pitch black, and I wasn't about to turn the lights on, so I had to walk around with my phone flash on, and this is when I started to hear police sirens. I went into panic mode. I looked out the window and I was making a plan to run instantly. The police had to drive past the school on the road and take 2 lefts to get into the parking lot. If I see that first left, I take the back exit and run into the forest, which should give me enough time to escape to the park and back home. I just gotta hope that they don't check the cameras and recognize my face, and then that was when I was like, oh shit. Even if I did run, I still have this sweater on. There's physical proof that somebody has been in here and they're gonna know it's missing, check the cameras and find me, and I can't go back to jail, bro. And then the police didn't take the turn and I was chilling, but I was still on my toes. I did a little peeking around and eventually struck gold. I found the crate that had all the Chromebooks and MacBooks, as well as another backpack filled with them. It took every fiber in my body to not steal this laptop, but I decided to put it back so that I didn't face jail time because I just can't go back, bro. There was probably like $500,000 of equipment that I could have just stolen in that room, which is crazy. And I wanted to take something, so I just snatched this little 3D printed astronaut, and I actually still have it with me now. I left the classroom and tried a few other buildings, but they were all locked, and I was getting a little sussed out at this point until one door opened, and that door was none other than the front office of this school. I could have gone onto the laptops and changed my grades. I could have set myself up for a future in there. They even had more MacBooks in that office too, but I left because I had been there for a while and I was just bugging out. So after a long journey, I headed home in my new sweatshirt and my little astronaut toy. I got to Cameron's house and just slept on the floor. In hindsight, I'm glad no one came with me because it probably would have made a lot more noise and for sure would have gotten us caught. And also the fact that they left so many doors unlocked is just insane to me. Criminals could have just been crawling through my school at night and I would have had no idea. They could be crawling through your school right now. Think about that. Anyways, I could have been arrested for trespassing that night, but instead I got a cool astronaut toy. This was probably the least intelligent moment of my entire life. Unintentionally getting high for 3 consecutive days. This happened back when I lived with roommates. I had one roommate that would always buy those storage jars to put his food into. Unknowing to me, he had a jar of very special gummy bears that would sit on the kitchen counter in full view from anywhere in the living room. These special gummy bears, due to the jars he would put them in, were completely unmarked and proceeded to make me become an unknowing victim to their powers for the next 3 days. So I woke up at 5 a.m. like the champion beast trailblazer I am. I got my pre-workout and went out to drink it in the living room. This was when I first laid eyes on the gummy bear jar. I thought one little bear wouldn't hurt, so I eat it, drink the pre-workout, and drive to the gym. A little bit into my workout, I'm starting to feel sloshed. Damn, the pre-workout really hitting today. Sheesh, I feel like Charizard. But then it starts to get worse. I'm doing these curls like 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6. I just can't count correctly. My mind is all scattered. I started to realize something was really off when I got on the treadmill and ran 3 miles without feeling a shred of fatigue. I was just in a mental trance the entire time I ran. I go into the locker room, and while I sit here finally with a moment to myself, I realize I probably should not drive myself home. I had to wake up the boy Roman to pick me up and also bring someone else to take my car back because I felt crazy. He pulls up with Cameron and the operation is followed through. Are you alright, man? Yeah, I just feel different, but not bad. We get home and I've got a Zoom class to attend in about an hour. As I'm walking to my room, I pass the gummy bears and eat another one. While I wait for my class, I remember just sitting in my chair, staring at my PC, doing nothing like a zombie. I was trying to mentally will myself into being functional for this class, but since I ate the other gummy bear as I entered my room, it just got worse. I sat in this class just staring at myself in this little Zoom camera window. The teacher even called on me at one point, but I just kept staring. I didn't say a word. It may have been from me being so high I couldn't process what was happening, but there was not a word spoken from me. I woke up this day pretty tired from the high of yesterday, but I still hadn't put 2 and 2 together and realized the bears were edibles. I had an in-person class today to attend, so I left for that pretty early and again ate a gummy on my way out. The gummy hit as I was walking to class and I was like, God damn it, not again, what's happening to me? I keep walking to class because God picks his hardest fights for his strongest soldiers, until I realize I have no idea where I'm at. A few wrong turns had been made without me realizing it, and now I gotta figure out how to get back. I probably walk around these neighborhoods for like 30 minutes just trying to find my way back on track to get to class. But then I remember, oh yeah, I got a phone, I can use this. So I maps my way back to campus, but I had not made the calculations required to know by the time I got there, the class would be over. I walk into the lecture room that would be my class, and there's a whole different teacher in class going on that I attend thinking, nah, this has got to be the same class. I bet this is just a substitute substitute. The class ends and I'm still oblivious to the fact that that was not the lecture I was meant to be in. An email pops up on my phone about my absence, and I remember replying to the email just saying not true and then walking all the way home. I had homework to do, but as I sat down to do it, I was like, yo, the teacher did not teach us this today. So I just played Elden Ring for the next 8 hours of the day. All this weed I had been consuming kind of messed up my sleep schedule because I woke up this day a good amount later than usual. So when I walked into the living room, my roommates were all awake and out there. I was like, guys, that thing keeps happening to me. I think I gotta go to the doctors today. Something's just not right with my body or something. I reach in and eat another gummy while I'm out here, but this time in full view of all my roommates. Roman's like, bro, you're really gonna eat an edible this early in the day? And just like that, all of the stars aligned in my head. I had been drugging myself on these gummy bears unintentionally for the past 3 days. So you're telling me that those are edibles? I've been eating those every single day recently. Then everyone just erupts to clown on me. These dudes couldn't act right. They're like, oh my fucking god, this dude's a dumbass. So I run into my room in tears and listen to Heartless by Kanye West. I hate my friends. Alright, that's the story. You know the drill. Bye. If you've ever smoked, gotten high, and then realized, wait, what am I doing with myself? You know how it feels. Being high without purpose leads to intense and heavy despair. It's a hollowness only comparable to living in Tucson, Arizona. So to help you avoid hitting that existential dread, because after all, I am one of your best friends and I look after you, I've cooked up 50 very awesome thingies you can do while high. And there's a lot of obvious things you can do, so I'm gonna rapid fire a few, such as eating delicious food, drinking water, operating vehicles on busy streets, killing, listening to music, playing video games, going to school, drawing, playing with animals, causing problems, gambling your entire bank account on Tesla shorts and losing it all in an instant, so you have to leave your anatomy class early to cope with the loss. Watching YouTube. My personal favorite thing to do while high is brain rotting myself with meaningless media consumption. And YouTube is the best place to do that. There was a day recently where I was with my boy higher than you can imagine while surfing YouTube. After sifting through a few videos, we suddenly feasted our hungry little peepers upon the most absurd YouTube brain rot we had ever seen. Losing 200,000 calories in 50 hours. This video is brain rot levels I could only dream my channel could ever achieve. Going for a walk. Going on Discord and raiding one of those servers with tons of open chats. Oh yeah. Hey, are you doing e-sex? Are you doing e-sex, bro? You little e-sex haver? What would your father say? What would the big guy say if he saw you having a little e-sex? Come on, man. Going through your entire phone contacts and calling everyone. Riding a hoverboard. Riding a bike. Learning the gritty. Kissing your friends right now. Going to the gym. Do the sus machine. Work the hip abductors, bro. Put the shame aside and do it. It feels good. Go to the cemetery. Stare at the wall and try and figure out what color it is. Just spin as fast as you possibly can in a circle. Swim in a pool, sink to the bottom, and feel your weightless body drift around. Postmates a medium Coke from McDonald's, and make sure you choose the freestyle orange flavor. Trust me, the taste is so worth it. For the small price you have to pay, it's so worth it. Do more drugs. Make sure you come out of this different. Watch videos of kids crying on Call of Duty. Study the Quran. Play Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga for Nintendo DS. It's a personal favorite of mine. Run to the top of a parking garage. Pretend to be an NPC. Lord knows that wouldn't be hard for you. Stack every single item in your home into one big pile. Play the knife game. Listen to this song and think about your failures. Go to the gym again. Only the top 1% of men can do this. Hold a conversation with your mother. Think about how time seems to pass faster than you can realize it. And before you know, everything you cherish will be gone. Tweet at me here on Twitter. Only the top 1% of men can do this. Listen to cool sound effects. Watch the entirety of the 1 hour wise tree video. Learn to backflip. Shut off your residential electric grid. Run outside of your home and don't stop until you collapse. Punch a hole in your drywall. Shave your head. Invite over my friend Adam for Molly. You can reach him at the comments because he's always reading them. Start your next anabolic cycle. Remember the good times and miss her. Now for the big 5-0, the big 50, here we are. I want you to unleash the monster in your soul and go to the fucking gym. If none of these activities have tickled your fancy, I guess you just gotta be depressed and like sad, man. I'm sorry, I can only look out for you so much. That's unfortunate, but like, you know, yeah. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye. These big old doohickeys are notorious for being the kings of smoking equipment. Just look at this list. It's at number 1. And it's for a good reason. Anyone who's ever used one knows just how lethal a few hits can be. And I did 10 big hits living to tell the tale, baby. I was in a smoke competition with this guy that is genuinely unhinged and vile as a person, but we'll get into that. It all started in one of my stacked classrooms. I had Roderick, Adam, Roman, need I say more? But there was one unnamed mystery individual in this class as well. No one knew him, but also everybody knew of him. He'd always be dressed up extremely classily. He had this pot hat he always wore. He had those anime hoodies and his classic lightning bolt Crocs. The dude dressed so loudly despite never speaking a word once, until Roman did his talking to strangers thing and came up to the squad like, yo guys, I talked to the Croc guy, he seems kinda cool, I'm gonna hang out with him. But then I'm gonna hang out with him quickly turned into we all hang out with him because the three of us were just too curious to meet this guy. We had to be there. So the plans were made, of course, at Adam's magnificent property. The day had come and the boys were all dressed up head to toe for Croc Guy's arrival. As he burst through the front door, we were all pleasantly surprised to see he was still sporting that iconic look. Considering his hat, we wasted no time to get to the point. You wanna smoke? Sure. So we get the equipment and all tiptoe downstairs ready for smoke time. So how often you smoke that epic, bro?
Just about every day.
Oh, alright. So you think you can do more than I can?
Well, why don't we find out, huh?
So I grab that thing, take a hit, and pass it over to him. It goes around its rotation about 3 more times before the big man Adam has to tap out. 2 more rotations, and Roderick taps out. Then ultimately, once we get to the 7th hit, I look over at Croc Guy, and he says to me,
I can't do this anymore.
So me and Roman do a celebratory dance to commemorate victory. I feel on top of the world! We need to go to the gym! So we go into Adam's home gym. Like I said, he's got quite the estate. And me and Roman start hitting this punching bag with no remorse for our hands. In the face of success and 7 bong rips, there was no pain to be felt. But Roman must have had some serious demons because he took it pretty far, but he's the unhinged one, so it's not unexpected of him. After we broke our actual hands, we walk back over to meet with the group downstairs. But it's important to note, as we walked back, I was walking behind Roman. We were met at a crossroad where going left would lead us downstairs, which was where everyone was, but going right would lead us to Adam's bedroom, where I could swear I heard some kind of noise from. But I had thought that everyone was still downstairs. Did they come up to Adam's room? Roman didn't hear this, so he kept walking without realizing I had stopped behind him. So I turned alone and walked towards Adam's bedroom, and as I walked in, I see the Croc Guy laying on the floor, but I didn't see anyone else. Yo, what's up? No response. I walk closer, and I see he's passed out in a weed coma of some sort. But as my eyes wander down, I see the Croc Guy is, exposed. I'm frozen for a moment before I slowly just walk out of the room to not make a noise. Bro, what was that? I knew we should have never hung out with the Croc dude. Oh my god, I need to tell everyone else about this right now. Once I got downstairs, I see Roderick freestyling and I freeze up again. Being as high as I was, I realized it would be pretty awkward to explain the situation to them. So alternatively, the plan was to naturally lead them into finding out themselves. But before I said anything, there was one absolutely fire bar Roderick said during his freestyle, which went along the lines of, "She didn't want to fuck me, but she should have. After that heat was spoken, I said, guys, let's all go upstairs. Okay, but let's smoke more. So we do the bong rotation 3 more times before going upstairs, and I'm just hammered. I am smashed from these hits, dude. As we walk up and towards the room, Roman yells out, bro, we need to go to the pool. I want to see what the water looks like. So the great croc guy reveal was delayed while the 4 of us sit by Adam's pretty sweet indoor pool. But to be honest, because of all those extra bong rips, I kind of forgot at this point the trauma that I had seen earlier. Something had snapped inside of me just out of nowhere at this pool because I'd start talking to myself. We're going to war, boys. This is gonna be the end. What are you talking about, bro? We're in the cryopod, bro. We're freezing ourselves in the cryopod before we go to die at war on the fire planet. You're on something else right now. Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about. Tell me, should I die for my family or for my country? Definitely the country, bro. Yeah, definitely. When I'm out there, I don't have a family. I just created an entire headcanon in my mind that we were these space soldiers. I don't know where it came from, but it was funny. We should leave the pool. Roman, that was a shit idea. As everyone left, I kind of lagged behind for 30 seconds or so before I got up. And because of that, I exited out of the wrong door because I'm directionally impaired. I ended up on the other side of the house in the living room. There was jazz playing, the Christmas tree was set up, dim lighting. This was the absolute peak environment to be in. So I sat down for a minute alone to take in the environment when my peace was suddenly interrupted by screaming at the other end of the house. Then I finally remembered that atrocity in Adam's bedroom that I forgot about, but I didn't bother to go over there since the situation I was in was just too good. So I just laughed about it alone from a completely different end of the house while my 3 friends just went through torture. I couldn't be bothered when I was this high and cozy. Eventually, I just kind of fell asleep and the boys handled it. I don't know what exactly they did to the croc guy, but whatever happened was surely a solution. Okay, that's the story. Subscribe. At one point, we've all consumed more substances than we can take and lost some sort of bodily function. Whether that's the loss of literal control over your body or the loss of your mind, so you just act on all of your primal monkey thoughts. Either way, something is lost. So even if this story is the highest I've ever been, if you've watched me for long enough, you'll know that the only thing that I lose is my shame. I have an ability to hard body substances without ever dropping. So at least originally, this night was going to be planned as a mushroom trip between me, Roman, Adam, and Roderick. And I'll just skip the scene setting because I know you just want to see the drugs. So me and Roman pick up 6 grams of shrooms, stop by the Holy Land for snacks, arrive at Adam's luxurious estate, and get inside to prepare for the Ninja content farm. Also, Cameron was there too, so let's not forget about him. Round of applause for Cameron, although he was going to be sober and exclusively doing homework on his MacBook this night. So you got the stuff, my brethren? Yeah, bro, I got it right here. Let's just bust this bad boy open. We got gypped, and the plug only gave us 4 grams. So the 4 of us ended up only eating 1 each. Right after eating these mushrooms, Adam, Roderick, and Roman ran off to probably smoke, but me, I'm more reserved than that. I made the respectable decision to stay back and help Cameron with his homework. And it wasn't because I like him or anything. So me and him bust through a good chunk of these questions until these words start to become a little hard to read. And these mushrooms are making my belly feel a little queasy. Those 3 goons that left before bust through the door and instantly and simultaneously start explaining how the mushrooms feel to Cameron for some reason. It's really cool, bro. It makes me feel really cool. Yeah, it's awesome, bro. It feels superfluously awesome. It makes me feel alive. It makes me want to take someone's life. In between my upset tummy and the juxtaposition from solo Cameron time, it felt like I got punched. Boys, I want to do homework right now. Frick you, bro. Fuck off, bro. What are you talking about? I was being bullied. You know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Oh my god. Despite us all having just 1 gram each, they were enough. These were some strong guys. As I had that moment to myself and overcame the queasy, I left the bathroom and everyone was gone. Although, I heard faint music from the porch. As I walked out, I see these 4 are smoking a big dog style cigar in the snow outside, and Cameron was making beats in Logic Pro. Ooh, there's the big homework, baby. What'd you do in the bathroom, bro? Put a diaper on? Did you put a diaper on in the bathroom? Bug homework, bro. Check this out. This was my snapping point. My friends were relentlessly bullying me, and I had to do something now to redeem the great Ninja name I was known for. Give me that cigar, boys. Check this out. Damn, bro, you're not supposed to inhale it. This didn't exactly hit the way I thought it would, but in this moment, a shining opportunity presented itself. Who wants weed, boys? So all of us, minus Cameron, scurry our little feet downstairs, into the garage, and hop in Adam's classic weed Porsche. Adam pulls out the big dog bong, and I knew this was the time. This was the moment I would fully redeem my stained legacy and go down a legend. I got handed the bong first, and as I held it, all my memories flashed through me like visions. When Roderick called me a homework baby, when Roman said I wore diapers, it would all be sanctified in this moment. I lit up, and as I'm sucking on this bong, I don't let go. I take the biggest bong rip of my life until my lung capacity can't take a single more milliliter of smoke. As I exhaled, the entire car is filled with smoke, and I'm coughing like Walter White. This shit hearted. Afterward, I just lay down in the back of the car while my body recovered. The bong was passed around a few rotations, but I couldn't take any more, so I just waited until we all finally got out. And once I stood up, I realized how high I was. So as we all stumble back to the bedroom, I go up to Cameron and I ask him, "Bro, let me see the laptop, bro." I had a golden joke cooking. I sit down with Roman in an attempt to open Google Images, search for Patrick Bateman, and my joke was gonna be that I said that was Cameron doing his homework. But I only got to search Patrick in the search bar before I hit enter, which brought up Patrick's star, which had this image from an Amazon link to a Funko Pop that the 2 of us found a lot funnier than the original joke would have been. But then I took it further by clicking on the image, bringing me to Amazon where I bought it. I bought the Funko from Cameron's laptop on his account with his card and shipped it to his parents' house. I was on fire. I was in my element here. Then Adam brings out the vodka and I'm chugging that thing like a Division I football player. Then Adam brings out the canned wine and I'm chugging those things like a Division I football player. I had completed the holy trinity of substances: earth, water, fire, but I was missing air. And I don't normally do this, but I start ripping Roderick's vape. And with all these substances combined into me, I was just like Avatar Aang. I guess my mind was still on SpongeBob because I really wanted Cameron to play the outro song from SpongeBob on his MacBook. But the video Cameron brought up wasn't just the SpongeBob outro. It was, I put the SpongeBob outro over the end of humanity. And as soon as this video came up, I had another golden bit to come to me. One that would even top the Funko Pop one. Cameron, hold your laptop up so that everyone can see. Boys, this video is something I've worked very hard on over the past few years, and I'm so happy to finally have it come to fruition. You didn't make that, bro. That's a YouTube video. They want you to believe that. But let me continue. As you know, my YouTube channel has grown at an extremely fast rate recently, and I wanted to celebrate the monumental achievement of 200,000 subscribers with a celebration that's fitting. So I've planted 200,000 bombs across New York City, and what you're seeing now is live drone footage broadcasted from my channel. But it's not just New York. The more subscribers I get, the more bombs I plant, until even we are engulfed by fire and explosion. It's just my way of saying thank you for all of the support I've received thus far. As you can imagine, that bit killed it. I could confidently say that my name was saved from the disaster of earlier that night. I walked out of the room and into Adam's library, basking in glory. Like I said, he has a luxurious estate. He has a library. And still vaping, I sit on his oversized reading throne until I passed out for the night. Okay, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. Dabs are an extremely potent method of smoking that I don't even mess with or really understand. You need this little thingy-mabobber, this doohickey, a tiny ivory ball that spins around, and a whole blowtorch. I tried to watch this tutorial to understand how it worked, but I ended up more confused than I came in, so I'm not gonna try and understand how this high-level Winterhold Skyrim sorcery works. That's for the high elves to know. The only thing I know is you use a blowtorch on THC oil, and that's crazy to me. So don't look to me for information. I never made it out of pre-calculus. I just tell the funny stories. So a few years ago, I found this rando at school because my little buddy Roman has a way of locating strangers and instantly befriending them. We could call this dude, Lois, ruler of the high elves. So Roman comes up to me and he's like, yo, I met this dude named Lois in my class. You want to come over to his house with me? And I had never gone over to someone's house before meeting them, so I thought, yeah, that'd be funny. I'm down. So after school, we meet up at Lois's house and enter this nice, massive home. After we came through the door and met him, he mentioned that tonight was going to be an epic, no parents are home, we can do anything we want type of deal. So we popped off and he led us into his bedroom. As soon as we entered his room, it reeks and there's garbage everywhere. Bro's room was completely different from the rest of the house. He had clothes all over the ground and probably like food crumbs in his bed sheets. But the most bizarre thing he had was an open bag of coffee beans lying on the ground under his desk. I asked him, bro, why do you have an entire whole thing of coffee beans in your bedroom? And he explained to me how when his parents make him go to bed at night, he likes to secretly stay up and game. But when he gets too tired, he swallows the beans whole with some water because he doesn't know how to use a coffee machine. And that was the first red flag that we were in the presence of an actual sociopath. And then he wasted no time to instantly pull out the entire dab rig. So you guys ever smoked dabs? And to be honest, neither of us really even knew what dabs were at this point, but we didn't say all that. We were just like, nah. And then this kid proceeded to pull out one of those wax weed pens and a syringe. He opened up the pen, extracting out the wax with the syringe and squirting it into the dab machine. And I feel like there's no way this can be good for you. You're definitely not supposed to use pen wax for dabs. I'm sure there's some chemicals in there that would make you grow a third arm and immediately see demons all around you. But this kid just goes straight for it. He was clearly a pro at this. And then he hands it over to the two of us like it's just implied that this is normal and we'd smoke this dude's mulch weed. Either way, we did do it because we succumbed to the peer pressure that accompanied that silence. But the thing about dabs is that they hit extremely hard. So as we smoked this, me and Roman ended up getting way higher than we anticipated, way faster than we had ever been at this point. Without even a word spoken, as if this was just an average day for Lois, he started queuing up League of Legends on his laptop. That was the second red flag that we got from this kid. League of Legends has like 40-minute long games, and I wasn't about to watch this kid that I don't even know play a game I hardly know for 40 minutes while high off my first dab hit. But then he has the audacity to ask the two of us to get him a glass of water since he was getting into a game. And to this day, I literally cannot wrap my head around the situation that we had gotten ourselves into. We go to this random kid's house we don't even know, smoke his suspicious weed, and then he ignores us. And the fact that he's so casual about the whole situation makes me think that he's done this to other victims, and every time his parents go out, he just picks a new kid from school to do his biddings. So me and Roman go down to this dude's really nice kitchen and start eating all of his food while plotting and preying on his downfall. On one hand, we had a really cool house to stay in, and we could just eat all of their expensive snacks with no real repercussions. On the other, we'd have to spend the night with this strange elf person that kind of seems like he's using us. In the end, we decided to troop it out for the night because, to be honest, if we were to leave, we probably couldn't find our way home in the current state we were in. We brought up this dude's little Wawa drinky in the sippy cup and tried to make some kind of conversation with him just to see if he was going to do anything else but play League. But the way he was glued to this game, we kind of realized that this was all he was going to do. So we just walked out of the room and started exploring and pillaging all all around this dude's massive house. I mean, it's not very often that you get to go through a stranger's house with no supervision and off a dab hit. And let me tell you, this exploration felt otherworldly because of it. The house could have felt way bigger than it was because we were high, but going through the hallways, the rooms just felt endless. The amount of bedrooms were ungodly in this house, and it took all of me and Roman's collective willpower to not steal their belongings. It was like getting into the loot vault in Fortnite and resisting the urge to take a golden scar. We eventually found what seemed like a family computer room, so we decided to set up camp there. We migrated back to the kitchen to get our yummy snacks and came back with a massive load of epic foods. We kind of just played random games on this dude's computer for a few hours, and the whole time this kid did not come looking for us. We set an hourly alarm to routinely check on the kid just to see what was going on with him, but he was literally just playing League all night. Multiple hours passed of this, and it got to the point where we entered ungodly hours of the night and we just wanted to go to bed. But this dude was completely unwavering in the face of the tiredness. He was gaming all night. This went on for so long, we just started to theorize this kid forgot we were in his house. But we didn't want to go to bed because it felt weird to just sleep in a stranger's bed. So we conducted a plan to sneak out of the dude's house undetected. We called our friend Adam to pick us up a few blocks down from the house, and on our way out, we stole a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos and tactically shut the front door behind us very sneakily and quietly. We got out of the house, and the next day at school, the kid didn't even mention anything or talk to us, and it was almost like he didn't even know the whole thing happened. Ever since then, I haven't smoked dabs because it was a weird experience, but anyways, subscribe. Smoking alone for the first time can be a daunting task. A little inexperience can make you truly fear you'll smoke the grass wrong and end up in the shadow realm. And a part of that's true. If you never smoked alone before, you gotta understand it leaves you susceptible to your demons more than any other scenario. In Fortnite terms, running solos can really feel like you queued solo squads with the amount of demons you gotta fight off. Truthfully, I'm not one to talk though, because the first time I smoked alone, I did it out a goddamn banana. I was truly struggling back in the day. This particular instance of my first time, I think it was my 4th time ever smoking weed in my life. I came into it so inexperienced, I didn't even consider something could go wrong. It was the day after I had some boys over. We had gone questing for Zaza the night prior, and when the next day came, I had a little leftover nugget in my name. So once they all left my abode, I got a real sinister and evil idea inside of me. I got the idea to smoke it on my lonesome. The only issue, I was so new to weed, I didn't even have a method to smoke it. I went on Google and looked up homemade ways to smoke weed, and that's how the banana thing happened. Then came the second problem all low-level Za smokers encounter, and that's masking the smell. And to be honest, I don't really have a very keen nose. My sense of smell is kind of fucking bad. But I just turned my fan on full and blew the smoke out the window. It was really the best I had. I won't lie though, the banana was goated. The banana was a little too goated because I ended up smoking way more of that razzmatazz hop skiddly do than I thought the banana was capable of. I expected some janky doohickey that hardly worked, but the banana method was truly valid. I only took like 2 to 3 hits since my tolerance was so abysmally small. But even from that, I started to see God. The chronic lung pain started to settle in immediately. It was so bad, I was praying to God, like, please Lord, free me of this pain. I didn't mean to smoke this weed. It was an accident. I really don't know how this happened. I was in recovery from this for like half an hour. I straight up thought it would never end and my high would be ruined because of it. So once I healed, I went on TikTok to rot myself from the inside out. But in my scrolling, there was one video that really stood out to me. It was specifically this one image from the video of a Lego Star Wars man. I stared at this picture for like 20 minutes, completely dumbfounded and in awe. I couldn't comprehend this Lego man, and it just didn't look right to me. So I did my research and watched the entirety of Lego Star Wars Episode free until precisely 12 minutes and 8 seconds into the video when I saw him. This is not the same as this, and it fucked me up. Immediately, I called Roderick like, bro, they fucking changed him, bro. What are you talking about? This Lego guy, he's not the same. They changed him. You have to come over right now, dude. I'll show you. So Roderick heads over to my house while I cannot comprehend why they changed a Lego man. He pulls up and I get the text that he's outside, and suddenly my brain does the Vine boom sound effect. Wait a minute. If I gotta go get Roderick, that means I gotta go through my house. That means I could be seen by my very own mother. I looked in the mirror to do a quick checkup, and bruh, my eyes looked like Squidward when he said, I'm all out of money. And I had no idea if I smelt or not. So I sprint downstairs as fast as I can, acquire young Roderick at the door, and take him into my room. Almost immediately, he's like, hey bro, it smells like weed in here. And my brain goes Vine boom sound effect with extra reverberation and bass boosted. Ain't no way, bro. Please say you're joking, bro. I can't have that be the truth. Nah, dude, it smells like weed. I start to panic. I don't know how potent the smell is, and I don't know if the smell had leaked out when I left my room. Now the objective has changed. It's no longer about Lego men anymore. It was about getting rid of the smell as to avoid getting a beating. I showed Roderick the banana, so he took it from me like, all right, this makes sense. The source of the smell has got to be coming from this banana. So what do we do about it? Give me a lighter. Oh, all right. And Roderick starts smoking out the banana, not before eating the whole thing. Eating that banana is just downright awful. All right, dude. Now the source of the smell is inside of me. So as long as I don't open my mouth very much, it can't get out. Oh, wow, bro. That's genius. I didn't know you had this much intelligence. Hey, I'm not done cooking yet. We gotta get the smell out of the atmosphere now. The atmosphere? Yeah, dude, the atmosphere. Go get a vacuum. Go get a vacuum. So I run and get the vacuum, and then bro turns on the vacuum nozzle and starts attempting to suck the weed smell out of the bedroom's atmosphere. Wait. That vacuum is too loud. It's gonna bring suspicion to the noise. Oh, damn. Good thinking. And in an attempt to soundproof my bedroom, me and Roderick take my bed mattress off the frame and push it up against the door. Once we had thoroughly sucked all stench from the atmosphere, Roderick was like, all right, we gotta vacuum the floor now because the odor can trap itself in the carpet, so let's suck it out. So then we vacuumed my entire bedroom. Our soundproofing was apparently not good at all because all of a sudden my mom opens my door to see what all the noise was, and the mattress falls on Roderick.
What's all this noise?
Oh, you know, I'm just cleaning my room. Are you okay, dude? I think my rib punctured my lung. Okay, but we should be all good with the smell now. This was perfect because now I could show Roderick how they changed the way Lego General Grievous looks in Lego Star Wars. So I showed him the difference, and bro didn't really care. He never played Lego Star Wars, so he didn't really have any reaction. After that anticlimactic reveal, he just headed home, and I was back to being high alone. But since we had cleaned my room, I won't lie, I felt like a king. I felt like I was living in the highest echelon of society, so I took a whole shower for like 30 minutes in complete bliss. Once I was done, I got out and looked out my window to enjoy the view to see Roderick's car was still outside my house. It turns out he forgot he drove to my house and he was walking home this entire time. So I called Roman to get Roderick to take him to my house so he can take his car home. So we go through with the plan until Roderick gets back to my house and he's like, I'm high, I can't drive. So we call Adam to drive over and bring Kevin to drive Roderick's car home. In the meantime, me, Roderick, and Roman all go up to my bedroom, and as soon as Roman steps in, he's like, it smells like weed in here. Are you joking? After all the atmospheric sucking we did, it still smells like weed. So Roman did a little scouting around until he finds little bits of weed all over my bathroom counter. It turns out Roderick had just spilled them all out before eating the banana and forgot that they were out in the open. So Adam and Kevin come to my house, and as Kevin gets ready to drive Roderick back home, he realized he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift. So we need Adam now to drive Roderick's car since he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift, and they did a whole thing that I completely tuned out because I'm high and can't mentally comprehend their plan. As I'm watching them try and figure this all out, I'm just thinking, damn, if they never changed the way that Lego guy looked, none of this would be happening right now. now. So since I just kind of tuned this whole thing out, I decided to sneakily turn around and just walk back into my house while this chaos is transpiring outside. Even though at the heart of the cause, it was my fault, I was just like, I can't deal with this right now. And as I went into my room, I won't lie, I still smelt the weed at this point. But I couldn't really bother to care about that either. I was just so mentally fried and I was so high. I decided I would just watch funny videos on my iPhone SE until I passed out. Okay, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye.